Hi, Shabbat Shalom. You may be familiar with the tale of a very wealthy man from Krakow, known by everyone as Yosele the miser. Despised because despite his great wealth, no one ever saw him do anything to help the many townspeople in need. As the years passed and it was clear Yosele would not live much longer, the Chevra Kadisha, the burial society, came to ask of him a large gift to give to the poor. He turned them away, saying he didn't have the money. Outraged, when he died, they buried him in an unmarked grave at the far edge of the cemetery, fitting for someone who ignored the community throughout his life. Shortly after Yosele died, however, people from all over the town began coming to the rabbi asking for money. Community leaders came requesting tzedakah. The rabbi gave what he could, but he asked them, "What did you do before? How did you manage until now?" He began making inquiries as he was wondering, trying to figure out what had happened so suddenly. He discovered that every week, Yosele had been secretly giving to those in need in a manner that no one, not even those receiving, would know. Are we ever able to measure the impact one has in the world? Yosele, demonized throughout his life, was in fact engaged in the holiest of work, keeping his entire community afloat. In just over a week on Purim, we will read from the Megillah, and I'm always struck by Esther's moment of doubt, unsure of whether she should risk speaking up for her people. Mordechai tells her, "Mi yodea im la'et kazot higa'at lamalchut." Who knows if perhaps you became queen precisely at this moment for just such a crisis? Without these few words, propelling Esther to stand up for the Jewish people in their time of need, would the Jews of Shushan have ever been saved? Mordechai's impact in this moment is immeasurable. We often cannot fathom the impact we as human beings have on the people around us. Take a second. Think back to a person who made an indelible impact on your life and has no idea. Surely there is someone in the world who each of us has impacted just as deeply, and we might not even be aware. So it was for the rabbi who shared the story of Yosele, the holy miser, at an ecumenical conference he was invited to. The following night, an assistant bishop at the conference, Joe, asked the rabbi to share the story again, and again once more the night after that. The rabbi wanted to turn him down. Haven't these same people heard this story not just once, but twice already? But he could see how much it would mean to this bishop. How could he refuse? After the conference, the bishop approached him. "I need to share something with you. You see," he said, "I grew up a devout Catholic, and very sadly, my mother passed away recently. Shortly before she passed, she said to me, 'My son, I don't have much time left, and I need to share my secret with you. I'm Jewish, and that means you're Jewish too. Your father was the soldier who saved my life, finding me on the brink of death in Auschwitz, and we fell in love. He made me promise to adopt his faith and that I would never share with our children that we were Jews. But I simply cannot leave this world without sharing with you that I am Jewish, that you are Jewish. In fact, I named you Joe for your great-grandfather, Yosele." And she shared with me the story of Yosele, the holy miser. After she died, Joe shared, "I was in a daze. I didn't know what to do. I prayed for a sign, any sign, that might guide me on the path I should take. And here you are, sharing the story of my namesake, Yosele. And then I thought, maybe it's just a coincidence. I'll know it must be a sign if you are willing to share the story not just once, not twice, but 3 times. Joe turns to look the rabbi in the eyes and says, "So how does it feel to be God's messenger. How does it feel? Rabbi Lawrence Kushner writes, "People chosen to be messengers of the Most High rarely even know that they are messengers, that they are God's messengers. I do not know how many times in one's life one is also a messenger, but for everyone, it is at least once." So I ask each of you, how does it feel to be God's messenger? Because when we make someone's day, when we steer someone in the right direction, when we teach someone right from wrong, or when we stand up for what we believe in, like today, standing in solidarity with Ukraine, together with synagogues across Cleveland and Jewish communities around the world, who can say how much impact we might have? The medieval commentator Ibn Ezra writes in the introduction to his commentary on the Torah, "Hamalach bein Adam uvein Elohav hu sichlo." The intermediary, literally the malach, the angel, the messenger, between man and God is our mind, that which gives us the ability to make an impact. To be created B'Tselem Elohim, in the image of God, means we have been gifted the capacity to be God's messengers in the world. Perhaps it is for this reason that the Torah, typically so terse, so concise with words, devotes nearly 5 Torah portions to the building of the Mishkan, the portable sanctuary in the wilderness, beginning with the instructions for building we read this morning in Parashat Trumah. In the first part of the book of Exodus, it's God that does the heavy lifting, bringing the plagues upon the Egyptians, delivering us from slavery, bringing us to Mount Sinai. Starting in our Parsha, however, the building of the Mishkan demonstrates that now we must be partners with God in the world. And only then, once we've taken action, will God's presence shine through and fill the space between us. Ve'asu li mikdash ve'shachanti betocham. Build me a sanctuary, and I will dwell in your midst. Not in the sanctuary alone, but among us, giving us the power and the responsibility to be conduits for God. I invite each of us to reflect on the ways we might be able to bring holiness into the world. May we all merit to serve as God's messengers, and through our words and deeds, make the world a holier place. Shabbat Shalom.